All right, good evening. Let's go ahead and get started here. Good evening and welcome to this Tuesday, August 20th, 2024 meeting of the Raymore Planning and Zoning Commission. If you would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Move right into roll call. Let's see, it looks like Commissioner Bowie's not here, at least not yet. Commissioner Smith.
Present.
Commissioner Faulkner.
Present.
Vice Chair Fizer.
Present.
Secretary Peterman.
Present.
Commissioner Shanks.
Present.
Commissioner Urquia.
Present.
Mayor Turnbow.
Present.
And Chairman Wiggins is here, so we at least have 8 tonight. We have no personal appearances scheduled. We have one item on our consent agenda, which is the approval of minutes from the July 16, 2024 meeting. I would entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I move that we approve minutes from our July 16th, 2024 meeting.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Faulkner, second by Commissioner Urquia, to approve the minutes from the July 16, 2024 meeting. Any discussion of the topic? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposition? And I will abstain, so pass 7-0-1. Thank you. There's no unfinished business tonight, so we'll move right along into new business, item 7, which is, we got one item, item A, case number 24008, Southtown Storage Site Plan. At this time, I would either invite the applicant or the city to present the case.
Hello, my name's Bill Bride and owner of Southtown Storage, and working out a new site plan for my original property and pray that you all approve it tonight.
Can you provide a little bit of background, or do you have anything to say about what's the difference from, obviously Dylan can give us some information, but is there anything you'd like to share with us before we jump in?
Nothing
Nothing.
that I know of. We went through the bases quite a bit before we
Okay.
got here, so.
Do we need his address?
I mean, I guess for the record, we typically do ask for the applicant's address, so if you want to just provide that just for
It's
the record.
4832 Southwest Leaf Wing Drive in Lee Summit,
Perfect, very good.
64082.
Usually I ask anybody from the commission if they have any questions for the applicant. Obviously, we'll get a whole staff report from Dylan. So does anybody have any questions before we jump in? Very good. Thank you, sir. We'll have Dylan do the staff report, and then we'll let you know if we have any additional questions. Thank you, sir. Dylan.
Thanks, sir. Tonight you have in front of you a site plan application. So essentially, an application was filed requesting a site plan approval to convert a portion of existing outdoor storage to construct 2 covered storage buildings and 1.
Those are enclosed buildings. The new one is.
They're enclosed. So,
Okay.
I mean, the elevations on their show enclosed. So,
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
one thing to keep in mind as I go through this report is that it is 2 phases. So right now we would be approving or asking for approval on phase 1, and phase 2 would have to come back through the commission and provide elevations for phase 2. And within your packet, sheet 5 is going to be kind of your best sheet to look at for the differentiation of what is phase 1 and what is phase 2. The project is located at 200 South Lincoln Road. The existing zoning is M1 Light Industrial, and the surrounding uses to the north are M1 Light Industrial, C2P, which is General Commercial Plan District, and C1 Neighborhood Commercial District. To the south is undeveloped M1 Light Industrial. To the east is A Agricultural, and to the west is M1 Light Industrial. There is quite a bit of history on the property as it dates back to 1990 when it was originally zoned M1 Light Industrial. It then became Bush Industrial Park, final plat, which was approved August 27th of 1999. And then a replat came 6 years later, which included Bush Industrial Park Tract 4, lots A through D. And if you look in your packet as well, I've included the final plat that was approved back in 96, which the subject property is essentially Lot D. On June 11th, 1997, the Board of Zoning Adjustments voted unanimously to approve a variance of use application, which allowed a commercial gym to be located on the same site as the original construction company that was there. And then later that year, November 21st, 1997, a gym and construction company was part of the subject property for a site plan, which was approved. So tonight is really a site plan amendment. As this site already exists, they're just looking to add essentially 2 additional buildings, and we're really just looking at one and the second coming at a future meeting. And then the most recent application that took place, at least near the property, was on April 6, 2021, which the Planning and Zoning Commission unanimously approved Southtown Storage Site Plan for Bush Industrial Park, Lot 3, which is immediately west of the subject property. A couple of things staff wanted to highlight was first the site landscaping. Within our UDC, it requires industrial uses to have 20% of the area be landscaped. The applicant has provided 19%, which staff can administratively allow a 10% adjustment on that, which would allow for a minimum of 18% of the lot to be landscaped. So wanted to highlight that. And then vehicular access to the site is actually gained with the use of South Lincoln Road, utilizing an existing access drive that's on the north side of the property. And really to be able to get back there, there's a restricted gate. So you kind of have to be there for a reason and not just open to the public. And then pedestrian access, there's one, since this is a site plan amendment and not a site plan, one of the things that staff had to look at was pedestrian access. For this, the nearest road is South Lincoln Road, which is 300 feet to essentially the edge of Phase 2. With these buildings not being proposed for office use or anything of that nature, there will not really be any pedestrian traffic, nor is there an existing sidewalk on J Highway. Staff is not requiring it, nor is there a necessity for this, nor is it feasible to construct a 300-foot sidewalk to these buildings. Within the planning and zoning staff comments, there are 2 items that we wanted to highlight. Any proposed public infrastructure will need to have easements dedicated to the city of Raymore, and that can be done either by supplemental document or by replatting the subject property, showing or at least granting access for us to be able to go and maintain those public infrastructure. And then, as I've kind of mentioned, the applicant is proposing a 2-phase development, and we're really just looking at the first phase, which is kind of the building more to the west for tonight's consideration. The future land use map within the growth management plan identifies the subject area as appropriate for business park, and the proposed mini warehouse use is considered a permitted use within M1 light industrial area. Staff does submit their proposed findings of fact to the Planning Commission and recommends approval for case number 24008 Southtown Storage Site Plan for the following 13 conditions. This would conclude staff report.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions for staff or the applicant after hearing the staff report from members of the commission?
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
you mentioned that staff can make an exception of 10%, but you didn't say if you were or not.
So that was also looked at, and yes, we would consider that as long as this site plan was approved by this body.
Okay, so okay. And then with where it's located, and you said they're going to be building on the western portion of the land for the first phase, correct?
Yeah, it's the southwest corner, right next to essentially an existing cell tower. And that was really kind of the impetus for this request, was that the cell tower creates a lot of birds that fly around, and obviously they're storing people's property and items of that nature, and there's unfortunately bird droppings and things like that get all over it. So kind of the impetus for the request is to have a covered structure that will, or an enclosed structure that will kind of prevent that from happening.
And so then will we see renderings of the enclosed structure at a later date, or?
So within your packet, there should be the elevations for the first phase, and then they will come back for phase 2 with the elevations of that building. But essentially, it's going to be a metal building, which is allowed within the industrial use and industrial zoning. So they won't be having any brick or stone or anything of that nature on. And really, you wouldn't be able to see the bottom of the building anyway. There's an 8-foot privacy fence that already exists on the property, so you're really seeing essentially the top 11 feet of the building.
So can you just clarify for me, am I looking at the plans right? Is it essentially, so phase 1 is essentially a building, a kind of upside down or turned to L shape. It's got 4 smaller units and 4 bigger units that'll be surround the cell tower.
Yes, that
And
is
then phase
correct.
2 is the longer and skinnier, let's call it 10 or 11 units on the south wall.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's more like centralized, but on the south property line.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to follow the schematics, and it's, with all the sewers and the streets and the existing and future, it was kind of hard to follow. Okay. Any additional questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Faulkner.
So first, question for staff. At the bottom of each page of the staff report, it's listing case number 234008. Should that be corrected?
Yes, that will be corrected,
Be
24008.
fixed. Yeah, because it is 24008, correct? Okay. Now, I don't see any of engineering, either applicants or city, so I'm not sure that I have to have an answer to this tonight. In fact, I'm sure I don't. On the various maps, on the various site plans, in the bottom right, which would be like the southeast corner of the property, there's a line running across to the edge called UGP, and I did not see that term in the abbreviation. So could somebody tell me what UGP means?
Can you tell me which page that might be on? In
Oh,
the bottom corner, it'll say like a sheet
I'm
number.
on page 18, but it's going to be pretty much every one of the maps or every one of the,
And UGP at the,
yeah, bottom.
I'm gonna guess underground gas pipeline if I were to guess.
Oh,
Underground gas pipeline is what I would say.
I was gonna say
Okay.
based on the definitions of
yeah, the abbreviations actually showed other things, but like a G was gas line, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's maybe just an oversight. Okay, so,
The solar array over there also, that might be the power for that.
well, that's close. If, Dylan, if you find out any different, please let me know. Otherwise, it's not an issue. Thank you.
basically it's in that that drainage area on the south of the fitness center and this fitness center parking lot. It just kind of goes zigzag across through that drainage.
yeah, so there's an existing detention basin there and then a solar array that's just to the north of that. Then there's a parking lot.
Yeah, but what he's talking about is it's straight across that detention basin. It says UGP.
Correct.
That's what. But yeah, there's no definition there. It's
No definition.
I think it's the.
Underground power.
The solar array feeding back into the building. The underground power going back to there.
Yeah,
that would
okay,
that would make
thank
more
you.
sense too.
Does he work for the city? We need to give him.
Any additional questions for staff or the applicant from the commission? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to dispose of this item.
Chairman,
Sir,
I recommend that we accept the staff proposed findings of fact and forward case number 24008. And then I'm not there yet. Where are you? Southtown Storage Site Plan with the 13 conditions as outlined in our packet.
Second?
got a motion by Commissioner Kia, second by Commissioner Smith, for the Planning and Zoning Commission to accept the proposed findings of fact and approve case 24008 Southtown Storage Site Plan with the following 13 conditions and the annotation that Commissioner Faulkner made regarding the case number, just for clarification purposes. Correction, yes, sir, thank you. Any discussion of the topic? Seeing none, all in favor? That will pass unanimously, 8-0. Your prayers are answered, sir. Thank you, sir. All right, so that will conclude our new business for the night. That will take us to item 8, the city council report. Mr. Zur.
Thank you, Chairman Wiggins. Pleasure to be able to be here this evening and to provide you with the City Council report. Since the time of your last Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, there's been 2 legislative sessions and 1 work session that I will report on this evening. The first legislative session of the City Council that I will report on is July 22nd. During the course of that meeting, there was really nothing on there that was directly related back to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I would note that there was an award of contract for an anti-ice spray system in today's heat. I'm not so sure we really appreciate that, but come wintertime, I'm sure we will.
Today was lovely.
That will cover our, it will allow the Public Works Department to treat and effectively pre-treat the roadways for inclement weather in the future. That's the only thing I can really identify on July 22nd. The next one is August 12th, 2024. During the course of that meeting, there were two items on there of interest for you. The first was a new business item 1 for approval, and it was the Chick-fil-A conditional use permit for the signage. There was a public hearing that was held on that one. It had been previously approved by you on the 16th by a vote of 7-1. That received approval from the City Council for the first reading of that. Also included on that August 12th meeting date was the setting of the 2024 tax levy. Again, a public hearing was held, and that sets the annual ad valorem property tax rates for the city. So as property owners within the city, that impacts on you guys as well. Those are the two items that I'd report from the legislative session. Last night, the City Council did have the opportunity to be presented with a upcoming budget for the year, fiscal year, and based upon that budget, you all will eventually end up seeing Mr. Fearborn here at a very near future meeting where he will provide a report on the CIP that is included within that budget. Each year, you get the opportunity to receive that presentation and vote for approval and passage on to the council. I'm sure Mr. Eppert has the date for that. I don't recall it off the top of my head.
September 3rd, so our next meeting will be doing the CIP, and then we'll also have the UDC review. So this will be all essentially administrative or staff level stuff. So there will be no applicants, it's just us, and we can have that discussion, and looking forward to it, so.
That would conclude my city council report. Obviously, always welcome the mayor to chime in with anything else that he might think of importance. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Thank you. Dylan, staff report, sir.
That was the item that I had, so
Perfect.
it actually was perfect.
Stole thunder, sorry.
Awesome. Well, we will, anything else to add tonight, or is that it for you, sir? Just to make sure.
That is everything that I had for tonight.
Very good.
Thank you.
Item 10 is our public comment. As always, we welcome if any members of the public would like to come forward. That includes adults and children alike. Seeing no movement from the front row, we will move on to commission member comment. And I will start to my immediate left with Vice Chair Fizer.
Well, I'd just like to thank staff for getting us all prepared and tell everyone to have a great day.
Former Chairman, Mr. Faulkner.
Thank you to staff, and it's good to see almost all of the commissioners here this evening. And the
Commissioner.
mayor.
Commissioner Smith.
Just appreciate staff.
Secretary Biederman.
Thanks, staff. School's back in session, so everybody drive appropriately, hopefully. That's all I got.
Commissioner Kia.
I appreciate us running lean this evening. I'm not sure where everybody else is, but appreciate the two of you and Attorney Zur for being here this evening and all that you guys do. Appreciate the packet. Thanks.
Commissioner Shanks.
Yeah, thank you to staff and everyone, and especially for allowing my kids to sit in tonight, as my wife was also double booked with meetings this evening, and they opted for this one, so thank you.
Go. We won't make that mistake again, will they?
I understand how that goes. I know Commissioner Kia and I have flag football practice to run off to here shortly. So, Mayor Turnbow, sir.
I have nothing to add this evening, thank you.
Very good. Thank you, staff, as always. Thank you, Vice Chair Fizer, for filling in for me a couple of weeks ago when I was out of town on a business trip, so I was unable to attend the meeting. Don't really have a whole heck of a lot else to discuss, so I'll just say thank you, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kia, second by Commissioner Faulkner. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? 8-0, we are adjourned. Thank you. Have a great night.